And we are back. Sorry for that audio issue we had just a moment ago, but I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11 Alive Weather Impact Team with yet another extended weather update as we are tracking this pending winter weather system coming in for this weekend on Saturday and on Sunday. And we're watching a lot of new data coming in right now. We have that winter storm watch in effect for parts of North Georgia. It's kind of phase one of these watches that we expect to have. Metro Atlanta most likely is going to be included in a watch as early as tomorrow morning to go into the weekend as well. So a lot to watch, a lot of moving pieces. We know that you're hungry for weather information, so that's why we're doing this extended weather update here on 11 Alive Plus. Well, we still have a weather impact alert that is in effect for our area, mainly for Saturday and into Sunday, as we have been watching this system evolving and developing with new model data each and every day, and also watching the intricacies of the changes within that model data each and every day, and for the trends to hopefully be able to pinpoint a little bit more of what's going to be happening here going into the weekend. We were telling you earlier in the week to listen to us every day for changes, and just because you may have heard something on Monday or Tuesday, just know that that could change going into Wednesday, Thursday, as well as on Friday. But we still have this weather impact alert in effect. The main thing that we're going to be watching for will be a cold rain changing over to freezing rain, we're thinking, on Saturday, especially later Saturday and into Sunday. The sleet and snow risk is really on the lower end. This is going to be mainly more of an icing event that we're going to see here. We want you to plan for some travel impacts as well as power impacts depending on who gets the heaviest or thickest ice that could cause those travel problems, as well as some of those power outage problems too. Look at the winter storm watch that extends all the way out past Texas into New Mexico, and look at all these states that it's covering here, and then coming into North Georgia. As I mentioned, for us, this is phase one of this winter storm watch. Now, what happens with the National Weather Service is they don't allow watches beyond 48 hours out, and they're thinking that this is going to be starting in North Georgia before it's going to be starting here in the Metro Atlanta area. So that's why they've issued this phase one that does not include Atlanta, but it includes much of North Georgia. It comes as far south as Rome there in Floyd County, also Bartow County, Cherokee County, Forsyth County, Hall County, Banks County, Habersham County, that line northward, also including Hart County and Elbert County there on the Georgia-South Carolina line. So all those counties in blue are the ones that the Weather Service is saying this could start as early as Friday night there. I still think that even for them, it may not be until Saturday based on the latest modeling that we're seeing. But I just don't want folks, and unfortunately, this is what's happening. Even though I posted earlier on my social media explaining that, hey, even though you don't see Atlanta on the map, that doesn't mean that we're out of the woods. We're just not included in this yet. And it most likely tomorrow, parts of Metro Atlanta or much of Metro Atlanta will be included in this winter storm watch. So this is phase one. More counties are going to be added here to that as we watch for those areas that are going to be dealing with power outages and also some travel impacts. There's still a lot we don't know. We told you this week, again, we'll be fine-tuning this forecast from day to day. Here's what we're feeling more comfortable with. There will be at least some sort of winter storm over parts of North Georgia or even Metro Atlanta coming into the weekend. It's just the extent and the exact areas that we're not able to totally pinpoint out there yet. We also know that there will be some spots that will have some dangerous travel, as well as power outage threat growing in certain parts, especially north and east of the city. And ice is looking more likely than the snow risk. Excuse me. These are the things that we're feeling more comfortable with and more confident with as we head into this event for the weekend. There's still a lot, though, that we don't know. We don't know the exact amounts, and that's where the models are kind of wavering a little bit, or the exact locations there of where those heavier amounts are going to be. We're feeling a little bit better about a timeline, but we just don't have an exact timeline yet of about exactly when we'll see some changeover to some winter mischief out there and exactly when it's going to end. So we'll be fine-tuning that, as well as the extent of the impacts, exactly which areas are going to be impacted greater and which areas might have some lower impacts. But we're trying to fine-tune that too. Also watching could warmer air come in on Sunday and overtake the wedge, or that shallow layer of cold air at the surface? Even though some models are indicating that, in my experience with the wedge, a lot of times it holds on longer than what the models are saying that it will do. So you may be hearing stuff on social media about, oh, I'm seeing somewhere that it's going to be 60 degrees on Sunday. One of the models was saying that earlier. But that's that model thinking that the warm air is going to take over that wedge, which usually the models don't always show correctly. So many things to watch. There's so much chatter on social media. I just looked at some of the comments on my social media, even though I tried my best to explain it, and people still are perceiving it different than what I was saying. So I'm just really confused. We try our best. We work hard trying to predict the future and communicate that to you. But a lot of times people just have their own perception. So thank you for watching tonight, because you obviously are wanting some information, and I hope that I can explain that to you in an understandable way. In fact, here is the model comparison between the European and the American. And I think what got a lot of people talking was that today's run of the European, and again, the European model is the one that's usually more credible. And the European model is the one from the beginning of this potential storm here. The European model is the one that was going gangbusters about it and being consistent from day to day to day to day about it. Now, the European model is the one thinking, hey, warmer air might come in and we might see rain for a little bit longer here for this event. And the ice might be confined just to areas from Atlanta north and east of the city and not to the south. If you are mad because you're not going to get ice, I would celebrate the fact that you're not going to get freezing rain, trees falling on power lines, and power outages and stuff like that. So those are just some of the intricacies that we're watching with these models, but still impactful from Atlanta up toward the north and also to the east. Now, the American model also was going gangbusters with this. That kind of took the American model a little bit longer to be going with this. But, and actually the American model was going with more snow versus ice, but now it's all ice. Earlier today, this model took the ice down south of Macon, over here toward LaGrange and Columbus, and now that is trying to push the ice up a little bit more, but still showing Atlanta southward, east, and north with icing conditions. So again, looks like it would still be happening, but maybe not in LaGrange. So these are the things that we're watching. We don't look at just one model run to go with an exact forecast there. We're looking for trends and seeing if the next European model run shows the same thing, or if it goes back to more ice. And the same thing with the American model as well. So I want to show you the icing, and I know I kind of flipped these a little bit. Earlier I had the Euro on this side, the American on this side, now the American's on this side. But it shows more coverage of ice, the American model is, whereas the European model is showing that coverage of ice being greater from Atlanta to the north and to the east, with that more, thick ice up in parts of North and also East Georgia. And this all would kind of line up with the wedge, which is that shallow layer of cool air at the surface, and you have moisture running up and over that. At the upper levels, above that shallow layer of cold air, it is above freezing, so it's a raindrop. It comes down to the surface where temperatures would be at or below freezing, and you would get freezing rain there. So again, the American model is showing a wider area of potential ice. The European model is showing it more north and east of the city. So again, we think we're getting something, but it's just fine-tuning the exact areas and the intensity of the ice that is going to be collecting in spots as to see who is going to be feeling the worst impacts there. And even just a little bit of ice makes a big difference in those impacts. A tenth of an inch of ice is like glazing on roads and power lines, on your windshield, maybe some slick spots developing and some isolated power outages. But if you get a quarter of an inch of ice and the roads are more icy out there, it's a little bit thicker, it's slicker, but tree limbs begin to sag and break. You can see numerous power outages if tree limbs fall on power lines or if the tree itself falls on power lines. And if you get a half inch of ice or greater, Well, that is a lot more dangerous travel conditions, more widespread tree damage, and more long-term power outages. We may have that in parts of North and East Georgia, depending on how much icing that we get there. So these are the things we're going to be watching over the next couple of days with those trends. Now, the timeline we're still feeling pretty comfortable about, where the National Weather Service is thinking North Georgia might start seeing some of this Friday night, and then into the metro area during the day on Saturday. And I think it's going to be on Saturday when we're going to see that transition taking place, where we go from a cold rain to a freezing rain happening. And any untreated roads could turn slick. I really think that's going to be more likely later on Saturday into the evening hours and overnight, when we see more of the freezing rain possible and some of that accumulation intensifies a little bit more. Temperatures would drop into the 20s by Sunday morning. Again, with any rain around, that would be ice that would be forming, and then roads turning slick and icy. Now, on Sunday, this is the big if here, because this is when the models are saying that some warm air, or at least the European model is saying some warmer air might come in and overtake that wedge and change it over to a cold rain before it's all said and done. So I do think that overnight Saturday into Sunday, we would be seeing some of that icing, but it could improve Sunday depending on that warm air. So we think the winter weather is going to continue into Sunday. The power outage threat is still going to be there, and we're going to be watching those temperatures very closely just to see if that warm nose could come in there and erode any part of that wedge. So how to prepare? We want you to prepare that we're going to see some sort of winter weather, and know that travel is going to be tricky, know that there may be some power outages, and know that you need to prepare for some closures, especially Saturday night into Sunday, maybe lingering into Monday. Even though we think the precip is ending on Sunday night, there may be whatever is left there that did come down or that was collecting on trees and power lines isn't going to be melting into Monday. It'll be lingering into there for Monday morning. So we'll just have to watch those temperatures and those profiles very closely into the weekend. Now, I know that we're concentrating on the weekend, but we also have some stuff going on out there right now. Nothing frozen. We're just talking about rain that is over our area now, coming into North Georgia and also Northwest Georgia, approaching the metro area. We don't have any rain here in Metro Atlanta now, but those clouds are thickening up a little bit more. But you can see up in North Georgia, some of this rain is coming down. And I showed you earlier a couple of tower cams where, even though it was showing green here on radar, those tower cams were still dry because a lot of this was evaporating before it makes it down to the ground. Now we're seeing the column of air moistening up a little bit more, and some of this rain is making it down to the ground now. This stretches back into Alabama, also into Mississippi. So this is pushing our way tonight. And then during the day tomorrow, we're going to see some of these off and on showers that'll be moving through. This is a live look right now in Rome. Now, we showed you the green in Rome, and it's not being really heavy coming down, but you'll see here how that car is driving up the road, and you're seeing the reflection of the lights on the road, even the green lights reflecting on the road. And these roads are wet. You can kind of see it on that side too. Nothing heavy, but there is some rain now coming down in parts of Northwest Georgia. Also, up in Blue Ridge, mainly dry there. We're not seeing, we're seeing the somewhat of a reflection, but not like a wet reflection on the roads there as that light turned red and this car's coming down the road. It's mainly dry roads there, but they're going to see the rain pushing in a little bit more. Atlanta overnight, we're dry now, but we'll also see some of that rain overnight and into tomorrow morning, and another nice view here of the skyline with the clouds, but no rain around. Almanac is looking okay, where we had highs today at 56, a little bit above the average. Low this morning was below average, though, at 29. That coldest air, of course, early this morning before we got up into those mid-50s here this afternoon. Temperatures right now still above freezing. We're going to stay above freezing tonight, so we have no concerns about winter weather here for the overnight hours, because it's just going to be above freezing in those 40s, and it's going to be liquid variety of precip. And then tomorrow, high temperatures up to about 53 degrees. Still some of those showers off and on during the day, but not raining all day long. You can see this rain as it's moving in. It'll be with us here tonight, off and on during the day tomorrow. And going into Friday, pretty much the same thing. Not an all-day rain, but just some of these scattered showers here off and on during the day on Friday. And then we get to Saturday. We're going to see a break late Friday into early Saturday morning. But then you see some of that up in North Georgia, mixing in early and then later on pushing into the metro Atlanta area where we can see that mixing with the European model showing the better chance for thicker ice up in northeast Georgia. Some of that extending down into the Atlanta area, some icing here, but not as much to the south of us. And then the GFS model showing more of a widespread coverage of the ice around. So we're hoping these models are going to be coming together a little bit more over the next couple of days, and we'll be able to fine tune those impacts in some of the more exact locations for you, and a little bit more kind of breaking down and pinpointing that timing for you here too. So this is how it looks right now. Warm air Thursday and Friday with highs in the lower 50s with 40% chance for showers off and on during the day. Changing over into some winter weather on Saturday as well as on Sunday, with icing being the main threat. Temperature Sunday all over the place in the afternoon. We're thinking 38 degrees for a high, but there are some models going much warmer if that warm air is able to overtake. So that's going to be the big question as more data comes in. And then really cold air Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. A low of 23 Monday with a high of 34. 19 Tuesday morning with a high of 38. 21 Wednesday morning, but at least we get back up to around 45 degrees there on Wednesday with partly cloudy skies. So still a lot to watch. A lot of questions that we still have that we hope to get more answers on over the next few days. And we'll share that with you here on 11 Alive Plus with more of those extended weather updates. And of course, we'll have another one coming up at 10 o'clock tonight, as well as updates on our newscast tonight at 11 o'clock. Have a good one. We'll see you a little bit later.